Now I'm going to concentrate on the get and the post methods to retrieve data. I'm going to do it in a very simple fashion to begin with. If you remember, at the moment we've got, we're on get data, which was just a select query which just returned everything. But we want to be able to pass in something like a last name and get information back. If we go to the sandbox folder, I'm sure I had one down here somewhere, there we go, the sandbox folder. If we go to get person, and if I open that up with a text editor, if you remember, this file getperson.php just took one parameter, last name, and returned all the details, the first name, last name and the age of anybody in the database who was called Smith. If there was a problem with the parameter, if it was missing or something, then we would have parameter is missing. If there wasn't that person in the database, we'd have no results returned. So we've got our PHP file raring to go. We just need to be able to contact it. So I'm going to do it very, very simply. Instead of having get data, I'm going to have get person. And now I'm going to run my program, so I've just changed it from get data to get person. I'm going to run it, and as we're not passing in any last name parameter, we do expect there to be an error. So we'll take a look at that first. So when the emulator is up and running, now passing parameters to a file on the URI or URL is quite a difficult task in Android. It's not as simple as it was in Python. So we're going to have quite a lot of work to do. So I'm going to take you through it slowly on what's happening. First of all, I'm just going to check that everything is working as it should be. So we know that if we call this file, then because we haven't included a last name parameter, we're going to get an error message. There we go, fail, error message. The parameter is missing, just as we wanted. So I'm going to stop the program. I'm going to put in a parameter, but I'm going to hard code it. We don't want to be hard coding. We want to be able to pick that up from anybody who's typing in on the screen, pick up what value they've chosen, and use that as the parameter, which is where the difficulty comes in. So first of all, let's try last name equals, let's think of somebody who is never going to be in my database at the moment, Churchill. I think I've got Jones, Bloggs and Smith. So last name is Churchill. If I run that, it's going to say, oh, I've got a parameter, but I don't have any data. So let's see if this works. Really, I should have written a program which you could just keep calling, but we'll come to that later. We'll just have to put up with this method for the time being. So this time I'm calling Churchill. Now I don't have anybody in the database called Churchill, so I'm expecting a fail message where there's no data. We're just about there. So if I press go now, there we go, no results returned. So there's no data in there whatsoever. I'm going to stop the program again. Actually, if I just return it there, let's stop the program. Maybe that's going to be a little bit quicker. Let's say I send in an empty parameter, so I'm not giving a value at all. I don't think that's going to work somehow. So I'll just stop it and rerun it. So this time I am not sending in any data at all. So I expect yet another error message, a different error message. Remember, we did all of this quite a long time ago when we were dealing with the PHP and the Python stuff. So we're only using the same files that we did before. We're just using a different device to connect to it. So here we go. So there we go. The value is missing, so it recognizes the value is missing. So let's just do one more. Let's go for Smith. We know that there is a Smith in the database. We should know that there's a Smith in the database. Just going to run it quickly. And I'm expecting the data to be returned and for me to get hold of whoever is Smith. So we will have gone through pretty much all of the error messages that we can get and the success, if there is success. There we go, person ID 2, Jane Smith, age 30. So this is working. We know it's working. But we don't want to be hard coding this into this line here. It would be really awkward for our program. We want to be able to do that programmatically inside our try block. So we're going to take a look at how to do that shortly.